Hi guys! Today we're going to learn how to change between different forms. I don't know if you remember, but there are three forms in quadratic equations. First one is intercept form. It looks like this. Y equals a times x minus p times x minus q. And the vertex form looks like this. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And then standard form, we already know what it looks like. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So here the different variables mean different things. For example, in the intercept form, p and q represents the roots, which is the answers for x. Remember solving quadratic equations. It also represents p comma 0 and q comma 0 represents the x-intercepts. For the vertex form, just like from its name, it represents vertex. H comma k is the vertex. And for standard form, a, b, and c represents different things, but most importantly, c, 0 comma c, would be your y-intercept. So that was kind of like a review on what we did before, but today we're going to learn how to change between all these forms. So let's see how we can do that. We're actually not learning anything new because we already know how to do most of the methods. So let's try an example. So here we have vertex form and intercept form, but we want to change into standard form. So in order to change the vertex form into standard form, we just use the box method. That's my step number 1. So let's try it. Right here, whoops, I moved it. I don't know what I did, sorry. Right here, we have x minus 4 squared. That means we have a square that has both sides to be x minus 4. So my step number 1 is to use the box method. So let's fill it out. X times x, x squared, negative 4 times x, negative 4x, and that's same here because it's a square. Negative 4 times negative 4 gives me 16. So if I multiply everything out, I get this box, but now we have to combine like terms. Combine like terms. So we get x squared minus 4x minus 4x plus 16 minus 1. Some of you are probably like, Miss Kim, where did you get that minus 1 at the end? Do you see it in our original equation right there? So we need to multiply all the things in the box, and then we have to go back to our original equation and combine all the like terms. So these two are like terms. Oops, not a highlighter. Let's go back. Combine these like terms, and we see that 16 minus 1 can be simplified too. So our final answer in standard form will be y equals x squared minus 8x, and 16 minus 1 is 15. So that would be our final answer. Step number 2 can be confusing because we have that minus 1 at the end, but always just go back to the original equation and we can see what's happening there. Let's change intercept form into standard form. Intercept form into standard form is really easy because we're just gonna use the box method again. So here we have an intercept form equation. So let's draw the box because we want standard form. X minus 4, x plus 2. Okay, so let's multiply them out. X times x, x squared, negative 4 times x, negative 4x, 2 times x, 2x, negative 4 times 2, negative 8. So now we want to combine like terms again. So let's write everything inside the box out. Let's write it out. X squared minus 4x plus 2x minus 8. So here we have like terms again, negative 4x and plus 2x. So we're going to combine them. Y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. And now it's in standard form. Now we're going to change vertex form and then standard form into intercept form. So we already know how to do this because we've been doing it before, but now we just organized it in a table. So let's look here. We're going to change vertex form into intercept form. Why do I keep using the highlighter? Let's go back. Okay. Vertex form into intercept form. So in order to do that, we have to solve for x. Do you remember solving for x using the square roots? We're going to do the same thing again here. And then after we find the roots, after I find the x values, after we solve for x, those are going to act as p. You can't really see it here. P and q, and put it into the intercept form x minus p and x minus q. So let's actually try it here. We have x plus 1 squared minus 25. So this is in vertex form, and we want to change it into intercept form. We want to change so that it looks like this. If you're wondering what a should be, a is right here. A stay the same. So a is going to be 1. Okay, so now we're going to solve for x. In order to solve for x, we have to set the equation equal to 0. So x plus 1 squared minus 25 equals 0. So in order to solve it, we're going to add 25 on both sides. So we have x plus 1 squared equals 25. But we want x, not x plus 1 squared. So we want to take the square root on both sides. When you do that, you have to do plus or minus square root so that we can cancel out the square. So now we have x plus 1 equals plus minus, what's square root of 25? 5, right? So now we have plus minus 5. That gives me 2 answers. X plus 1 equals 5. X plus 1 equals negative 5. So since we want to find x, subtract 1 from both sides. And we get x equals 4 and x equals negative 6. So these will go into p and q on the intercept form equation. Okay. So if I do that, sorry, it got really messy here. If I do that, I have y equals, a stay the same, it's still 1, x minus 4 times x minus negative 6, but two negatives make a positive. So that will be our answer in intercept form. Oops, I dropped my pen. Okay. Changing standard form into intercept form is very, very easy because we all know how to factor. So let's try this problem. We have x squared plus 5x plus 6. Remember, when you factor, a times c go on the top, b goes at the bottom, and then we need to find two numbers that multiply into a times c and two numbers that add to b. So a is 1, b is 5, c is 6. Remember, when you find a, b, c, you're just looking at the coefficients. That means you're just looking at the numbers, not the x's. So we found a, b, and c. So a times c is 1 times 6, b is 5. So let's look at all the numbers that multiply to 6, 1 times 6, or 2 times 3. Which one could add to 5? You're right, it would be 2 and 3. So now we're going to put, why do I keep moving it? 2 and 3, and then write it out, x plus 2 times x plus 3. A is still 1, a stays the same. So since it's 1, you don't have to write it in the front. And then we only did factoring, but ta-da, it's already in intercept form. Yay! Alright, this is the last page. What we're going to do here is to change intercept form and the standard form into vertex form. So just like in the name, the most important thing is to find the vertex. Do you remember how to find the vertex? There were some formula that we used to first find the axis of symmetry, and then you plug in into the equation to find the vertex. Let's try doing this intercept form into vertex form. Okay, so let's find the vertex. In order to find vertex, we have to find axis of symmetry first. So axis of symmetry was x equals p plus q over 2. And then we plug in this x into the equation to find vertex. Alright, so what is p and what is q? Oh my god, I used highlighter again. Guys, I'm so sorry. There you go. P is -1, q is -3. Remember, you have to change the signs to find p and q, always. So if I have p to be -1 and q to be -3, p plus q over 2 would be -1 plus -3 over 2. That's -4 over 2, which is -2. We're going to plug this in, the -2, into the x's in our original equation. You see the green circle? If I do that, I get y equals -2 plus 1 and -2 plus 3. So -2 plus 1 is -1, so it's -1 times negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. Oh, we all know what negative 1 times 1 is. It would be just negative 1. So now that it's going to be our vertex. Negative 2 is our x value. Our y value is negative 1. So our vertex would be negative 2 comma negative 1. And that is our h and k in our vertex form. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So instead of h, we're going to put negative 2. Instead of k, wait, why can't I erase it? Erase it. Instead of, what is happening? Instead of, there you go. Instead of k, we're going to plug in negative 1. And a always stay the same. So a, you have to look at our original equation. Do you see that a is 1? So a is just going to be 1 again. Oh wait, Miss Kim, we have 2 negatives here. So that means we can change into positive. So it's x plus 2 squared. Oh, and then it's adding a negative, so it can just be minus 1. So that's your vertex form. That's my cat. Captain, go away. Sorry. Let's look at standard form. My cat just bit me. What the heck? We're changing, I forgot what I was saying. We're changing standard form into vertex form. So this is standard form. We're going to change into vertex form. Let's look at the steps. Our first step is to find vertex. We're going to use the axis of symmetry again. X equals negative b over 2a. And then we're going to plug in into equation after we find it to find the vertex. Then the vertex goes into h place and then k's place. So let's actually try it. Axis of symmetry equation for standard form is x equals negative b over 2a. So that means we have to find a, b, and c. A would be 1, b would be negative 4, c would be 6. Remember, we're just using the numbers in front of the variable. Alright, so axis of symmetry would be negative of negative 4 over 2 times a. So this becomes positive, and 2 times 1 is 2. So that means 4 over 2 would be 2. So that's our x value. That's going to be our h in the y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. That 2 is going to go here. So let's find k. So in order to do that, we have to plug in the 2 that we found right here into x's. So let's plug it in. We have y equals, let me draw a line right here so that it doesn't get confusing. Okay. Y equals 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 6. We're just plugging in 2 here into the x's in the original equation. That's such a bad arrow. There you go. Okay. So that gives me 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times 2 is 8 plus 6. So that's negative 4 plus 6, which is 2 again. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that 2, and that's gonna go into k's place. So let's write out the equation. Y equals, remember a stayed the same, a is 1, x minus 2 squared plus 2. That is because k was 2, and then here when we found h was 2. Oh wait, I just realized I did the same problem in the example. Oh man. It's okay. Right here, I always try to do a different example, but I just ended up doing this. So we have the same answer. I'm sorry. Oh, now I feel bad. But if you want more practice, you can ask me and then I'll give you more. But I don't think anyone will. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you guys understood it, but if you didn't, that's okay. Send me an email or you can DM me on GroupMe. If you're not in GroupMe, please join. The link is on Google Classroom. Thank you. Have a good rest of the week. I miss you guys. Bye.